Hi everyone. So today I'm going to do a video all about liquid eyeliner. It's a question I get asked about a lot, and I think a lot of people are very intimidated by it, but it really doesn't have to be intimidating. It is tricky, I'm not going to lie, to begin with getting a flick, but I think that if you master just getting your little bit of definition on the lid first, just on the lash line, then your flick is going to come from there. So I'm going to try and break this down really simply for you, and I'm going to show you in two parts. So firstly, we'll just do a little bit of definition on the eye line, and then we're going to add in a small flick. I think that flicks suit a lot of people. I don't know if they're for everybody. Personally, I don't think they are great on me, like big ones. I do nice little ones just to lift my eyes, but it's about finding the balance and what works for your eye shape and for you as well. So I am going to start now. I have my eyeshadow done, no mascara on, and our liquid liner, as you can see, is a really nice pointed felt tip pen. I love the nib on this because for me it's nice and sturdy. You're going to get plenty of payoff, and it just means that you can get a really nice steady line, so that it makes it easier to do the eyeliner. Now the first trick, and probably the most important one, is don't look at your pen. So don't look at your pen as it's coming into the eye, and don't look straight ahead into your mirror. What I do is I take my little compact mirror, this is from my Iconic palette, and I look down into my mirror. So when I'm looking downwards, you see now that my lid is exposed, which means I have easier access to get to that lash line. And then what I do is I stare, really stare at the lash line, so that I'm looking to see where the pen is going and not looking at the pen coming towards me, which is going to make me blink. The other thing is try not to close your eye on one side to do it like this, because when you do it like that, your eyelid is going to flicker, because you're trying to keep it open when the other one's closed. So just keep the two of them open, look down into your mirror, and then bring your pen in. Now the trick, one of my things for doing it is I always start in the middle. So for me, if I start in the middle, it means I can just get my bearings and I can kind of gauge my way of where I'm going and see the product, and then bring it out and in. It also means if you put too much down to begin with, you can kind of blend it out. If you start with a really heavy blotch in the inside, it's really hard to clean up. So, and don't worry if you do make mistakes, it's really easy to clean up. So I'm going to show you a really handy tip that's a bit unusual, but it really works if you do make a mistake. So I'm looking down into my mirror, and I'm going to place my pen sideways. So again, not straight on, but sideways, and let it sit onto the lash line. And I do these little strokes. So rather than trying to do one straight line across the way, I'm just doing little flicks with my pen to get the gauge. Now the other thing you can do if you're really nervous about using liner but you really want to, is start by lining the lash line with a little bit of light shadow or a light brown pencil. And the eyeshadow trick I find great, and it's something I used to always teach my students, was to always just line it slightly with a little bit of eyeshadow first and then just trace over it. So you see again, I'm just staring at the lash line. I'm not looking at my pen. I'm just looking at the lash line to see where I want that pen to go. Okay. And what I like to do is keep it nice and thin on the inside, but thicken it slightly as I go out. So sort of from where your pupil is, you could bring it up a little bit. And this is going to give the illusion that the eye sits up slightly. So you see there, that nice little bit of definition we've got going on. And it just gives a little bit of a frame to the eye compared to this one. So I'll quickly even this side up, and then, or will I? No, I won't. I'll keep going and we'll do the flick, and then I'll even the other side up off camera. So when you're doing a flick, the next thing is like trying to gauge where you want that line to go. So one of the most common misconceptions is that you just follow the line out and you bring it outwards like that. But that's not the case, because if you keep your eye closed and you follow the line out, it looks like it'll be straight. But when you open it, as you can see, the lash line tends to go downwards. So often your flick can end up sitting down. So what I would always suggest is follow your lower lash line. So it's like when we're doing eyeshadow, you're following the lower lash line up to the brow. So this area here is where you want it. Again, a really handy tip is to do it with a light shadow if you're really nervous first. But you're going to go from here to here. And what that's going to do is it's going to lift my eye up. So I'm taking it from the lower lid, or lower lash line, sorry, and I'm just going to drag it upwards. So best to keep your eye open for this. It's really hard to do looking in the mirror down here with the camera, trying to make sure that I show everything. I don't want to block you. Okay, so bring it up just slightly. Okay, so I've got my little line, but that's all I'm going to do just yet. And then I'm going to go to the edge of the line here, and I'm going to bring it back in to join my first line. And then you see the way there's a little triangle there that's bare, just color that in. Okay, so when you have it colored in, you can see then you've got your nice little flick. Now obviously the size of the flick you do is totally down to your own preference. I, like I said, think that a small flick on me works best. When it goes too high, it's just not for me. But a lot of people do like them a lot stronger, but that's probably enough for me now. So I'm gonna go and even this side up and then pop on some mascara. But I do hope that that's helpful. Actually, do you know what? I want to show you as well. One way, if you find that your flick isn't as neat maybe as you'd like it, or you'd want to make it a little bit sharper, this is a peculiar one, and you can use obviously makeup remover instead. But what I find great is getting a little cotton bud, and then rolling it on your tongue. Weird, I know. Don't ask clients to do this if you're a makeup artist. And then roll it here. It's the best way to remove any mascara or any eyeliner that has gone astray on the skin. Just let it dry and then roll it with that. I don't know what it is about saliva, but it just removes everything. So I'm going to quickly go and even myself up and pop on some mascara, and I'll show you what it's like then at the. So that is my other eye evened up and my mascara on. So I do hope that that was helpful. The one thing I'll say is don't be hard on yourself. It's a little tricky to begin with. It does take a bit of practice. When I used to teach makeup and beauty in the colleges, I always on eyeliner week said to the girls, we did it in class, and then I was like, every night now when you go home this week, I want you to sit in front of the television, take the makeup off, whatever, but just practice tracing it on, taking it off, tracing it on, taking it off. And it's really just to get yourself in the flow of being okay with coming onto your eye and being that close to your lid and not kind of freaking out a little bit. And I promise that those little things and just the repetition of it make it so much easier. Definitely try going with the bit of shadow underneath first as well, until you're just kind of fluid with popping it on, and it's a game changer. So I really hope that was helpful. If I've missed anything in it, or you want to see anything different, let me know in the comments below. But otherwise, I will talk to you soon.